Why does it seem like nothing is connected? Okay. Okay. Things start working. I don't know why when I had all my settings set up, it's just not connecting properly. Okay, I see we have 3 people here. Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if the stream chat now is gonna be connected. I don't know why I have such issues today. But let me check. Can you guys tell me if you hear me? Okay, perfect. So, hope you're all doing well. I skipped the live stream on Wednesday since I wasn't feeling really well. So here I am today again. Let's do some analysis. Let's see what has been happening during the week. And connect. This is a Bali edition. I want to spend time outside as much as possible. It's been raining the past day, so when it's not raining, I'm trying to be outside. I am a little bit tired. The last few days I haven't been feeling well, so I hope it will. I will try to rest during the weekend, and I hope I'm gonna get my energy back. But yeah, it's been my energy has been so low whole week. But yeah, let me jump on the charts and do some analysis first, and then we can talk. I will start first with DXY actually. We had some nice moves this week. So if you joined the live stream on Monday, I did a short one. I mentioned that I was anticipating to see a bearish move on DXY and bullish move on EURUSD and pound USD. So currently, if we check the weekly chart, we can see that we are retracing into this weekly fair value gap that we have here. And I will be bearish until we shift order flow on a lower time frame, but this is like short-term bearish for the pound and short-term bullish for euro dollar. So which are the areas that will most probably support price? If we look at how price has been like creating the structure, we can see that this was the low that actually created the last high. So if we are going to continue this bullish movement and target this low resistance liquidity that we have here, this low should hold, shouldn't be violated. Sorry. So one area that might support price will be this weekly fair value gap that we have here. If we don't see this area supporting price, then it will be this point of interest or weekly order block indecision candle, however you want to call it. The easiest way to call it so that everyone can understand is point of interest, because many people give so many different names to all these order blocks, and I like to call them just points of interest. So as we can see here on the daily time frame, the weekly order block that we have here is actually an order block, like we have imbalance within this order block on the daily chart. So one area, if we take Fibonacci from here to here, we're gonna see that this indecision candle that kind of overlaps with the breaker block here is also overlapping with OTE on the last expansion, or 0 to 62 level. So this is here, this zone is a zone where we have like multiple confluences together. But so I will be bearish on DXY until we reach this level here, and then I will be observing how price will be reacting from this level. But of course, if the lower time frame is going to tell me otherwise and tell me that the order flow will shift bullish, then I will always follow the higher time frame. So sometimes the retracements are not as deep as we expect them to be. That's why we should be always aware of where the higher time frame is and follow that. But we should get a confirmation on a lower time frame in line with the higher time frame in order to form ideas that will align with the analysis or with the bias of the higher time frame. If I jump on the 4-hour chart, we can see that on the 4-hour chart we have a bearish order flow. We're expecting bearish PDRAs in form of order blocks or fair value gaps. So let me just remove this one. So what happened here? We had the first market structure shift here. Then we engineered some internal liquidity, and it's really nice when you start like studying how price is moving. We created this trend line liquidity on the upside, and we created trend line liquidity on the downside. And I remember I told my community on Tuesday morning that with the news we're gonna definitely have liquidation on these trend lines. So I told them that if we see one side liquidated before the news, we're gonna get the news liquidating the other side. And if we take a closer look, we can see that first we liquidated this trend line liquidity, and then we went for this trend line liquidity with the news. So something that people sometimes miss, so to say, they think that when we target the trend line liquidity, that the whole trend line liquidity should be liquidated. That's not the case always. Sometimes it's just enough to make this fake breakout to make people that, let's say, trade breakout and retest to get into positions. So sometimes we are going to just see price violating this trend line and then delivering on the other side. And this usually happens when we create this trend line liquidity on both sides, or another name for this is also ascending triangle. People that trade chart patterns, they usually call it an ascending triangle. So this is what we usually see when we have such kind of pattern formed in the market or trend line liquidities. So what happened afterwards? We cleaned this trend line liquidity, and if I drop lower, we had one point of interest here where price went and retested, and then we continued lower. Something that we should pay attention to is this is the indecision candle that we saw on a daily chart, which actually liquidated a previous swing low. So this is an area from where we might see some form of reaction. But if you have been on my live streams for some time, you know that I've been mentioning that when we are at equilibrium, there is a chance that we're going to see some form of consolidation until price decides if it wants to continue higher or lower. And since we have a huge fair value gap here, I will not be trying to force long positions from this zone unless the order flow shifts bullish. But I will keep in mind that this zone might shift the order flow to bullish, and we might continue higher to target this liquidity that we are creating here. So as of now, I'm short-term bearish until order flow confirms the opposite. If we go on the daily chart, yesterday we had some news, and in Bali, I'm not able to open Forex Factory. And when I try to shift to VPN, my internet connection switches off, so I have to always check the news before the live stream, because I'm not able to open Forex Factory here and just share what we have for the day. But today I think we had red folder news at 8:30 New York time. But let me just double check so that I'm not gonna just guess. Give me a second. Whoops. I have to check on my phone. I hope my phone is not gonna have the same problem. Or if someone of you actually can share with me how to see confirmation while if price retesting it's if you mean like confirmation, like the order flow shift that I'm talking about, this is like you just start, you're waiting to see price starting to shift structure on a lower time frame and respect bullish PDRAs. And PDRAs are either fair value gaps or order blocks or breaker blocks or balanced price ranges. So you just have to pay attention on the order flow delivery. I can show an example. Let me just try to check Forex Factory. Unreachable. Those are the things that I don't like with traveling. Like you run into issues that you do not actually anticipate, and you have to find solutions for that. But if I remember correctly, let me actually, if I remember correctly, it was the new, we had high impact news. Okay, I found it here. USD price, core price index, and okay, so no, it was not. yeah, we have high impact news, I believe, at 8:15 and 8:45 New York time. I just got screenshots from one community member, and I don't know which time zone he's at, but I do believe that that's the time, because that's the usually the time when we have news. But yesterday we had news, and what we saw is just grab of this trend line liquidity. DXY took this high, but Euro did not. We had S&P divergence, and then price pushed lower. So what are we left with here? Like what would I look at today? We said that, and guys, here is so hot, so I have to drink water all the time. I'm cooking. It's super hot. But what happened here? So we created a balanced price range that will most probably act as resistance. So for today, since it's Friday and we had some movement during the week, Friday sometimes are reversal days, and we had, like, since Monday we've been just trending downwards. So, but since it's, yeah, I'm not gonna try to predict where price is gonna go today, but I can just share with you what I would be looking for if that happens. So this order block here is an interesting point of interest for me. Reason being is because we took this previous daily high, and we have this balanced price range here that usually acts as resistance when we are bearish and support when we are bullish. So what would be a good trade idea, in my opinion, for today, if it happens? If not, maybe in beginning of next week, but I do believe that this will play out today. If it plays out, I would expect price to slowly come into this zone here, and then create nice trend line, and then target this trend line and continue on the downside towards this higher time frame point of interest that I mentioned earlier. So this is the only thing that I would be looking for today. If that doesn't happen, then nothing interesting for me. Now let me go to EURUSD, and I do believe that we're gonna see the same thing, just reversed. And we had some S&P divergence that I mentioned, but let me first talk about the higher time frame. I do believe that, actually, I'm sure that I mentioned on previous live streams that this area here might be a sensitive area to push price lower on a higher time frame. Why? Because we started creating lower highs and lower lows, and we had a weekly fair value gap here. We have an order block and breaker block on a lower time frame. So this area might be a sensitive area that will push price lower. If we compare Euro with DXY, we're going to see that DXY has still room to move on the downside if we want to fill this fair value gap that we have here. Never a guarantee that the whole fair value gap will be filled, but there is still potential for DXY to move lower, which is kind of like telling me that there is still potential for Euro to move higher. So as long as the order flow is bullish, I will be looking for long positions until we reach, like, nice premium here. As you can see, that we're almost reaching equilibrium on Euro. And if we go on the daily, something that I was expecting to see yesterday was price liquidating this low. This was a trade idea that I was waiting for, but we didn't liquidate the low like DXY did. I was not fast enough. DXY liquidated the daily low, but Euro didn't do that. So I was waiting for euro to liquidate this low in order for me to take another long position, like sell side liquidity and then target buy side liquidity, but we never reached the low. We just took the trend line liquidity on a lower time frame and continued higher. But looking at what is happening now, like since we did not create yet a new higher high, price might go lower, but this is unlikely because we already took this nice trend line liquidity that we had on the downside. We do have these previous daily lows, this one and this one, but I don't expect it to be liquidated today. This might be a potential trade idea for next week. If I go on the daily, exactly the same thing that I mentioned on DXY is what I'm waiting for here. So as you can see, we had a point of interest here which was not fully reached. We almost stopped there. We created an equal low, so this equal lows will be definitely a target maybe at the beginning of next week if we want to continue higher, or sometime in the future if we're gonna go higher. This can be like a liquidity pool for the future. So from here we took this sell side, we haven't taken buy side yet, so I will be waiting for the same thing that I mentioned on DXY, just price retracing into this balance price range. Here is this order block, and from here I would wait for shift on the upside. And I see in the comments someone mentioned TGIF, like thanks God it's Friday. I don't follow on any models anymore, to be honest. I don't follow any models. I just read price and act accordingly. I don't want to think of how this model is called or how the other model is called. You will see that when time starts passing, you're not going to think of the models. You're going to just focus on what price is telling to you, and you're going to start understanding the movements. Things are going to start making sense. You're not going to be overthinking, is this the 2022 model forming, or is it thanks God it's Friday, or unicorns, or whatever they're called. I don't know all the names. So I'm trying to just find a better zone, and we can see that this bounce price range is actually overlapping with 830 price from yesterday, not 830 New York open price from yesterday. And this is another confirmation that I usually have when I have to choose between two different points of interest. I definitely prefer to pick the one that aligns with either New York open or 830 price, because they are more respected than, let's say, just a point of interest with a random point of interest that took liquidity. So if we have a point of interest that took liquidity and is overlapping with New York open price from the previous day or 830 price, this is just giving me a higher confidence that this zone will be respected. So yeah, this is what I'm waiting for today. And if you haven't checked my live streams from before, like you can, the things that I'm talking about here, you will see that on the live stream on Monday, I said exactly what I'm expecting to see, and those are the things that happen. So I'm not going to be thinking, okay, which model should I use? Just give yourself time to actually start understanding price and price movements, and after that you're gonna adapt and you're gonna find the perfect model for you. You should not like try to replicate what other people are doing or how they are entering, because you're never gonna manage to replicate someone else's style. And you should create something that is your own, that you feel comfortable with. So your main focus should be on understanding price, not on execution models. Yeah, yeah. At the beginning, when you're struggling with so many things, it's good to like stick to one model for you not to one model, like one execution type. Let's say once I see a market structure break on 15 minutes, I will enter on OTE. The reason why you want to do that at the beginning is because you might start trading too much, over trading. If you try to implement everything at once and you don't have the skill yet to be able to react fast on different changes and ideas. So that's why I always suggest, until you get that experience, until you get the skill and feel more comfortable, stick to one model, one entry, like model or entry type, or however you want to call it, execution model. And after some time, when you start to feel comfortable and confident in your analysis, once you start seeing improving yourself, that you're able to read price, then you're gonna see that you're gonna start readjusting your entry models, because the entry is the last thing that we should think about when we are in a stage of learning and understanding price. So let me just, so this is for euro, and let me just go on pound dollar and check what's happening there as well. So point of interest, the balance price range and the order block that we have there. Point of interest. So for, let me delete this. For pound dollar, we shifted the order flow to bullish. Let me just clean up all the markups so that it won't be confusing. So what do we have here? Even on the daily chart, we created the balance price range, and this balance price range might act as support next week for price to push higher. Or it might act as support. I don't know what news we have next week, but yeah, we might create some form of liquidity that price might come, take, and then shoot higher. So this is definitely a zone that I will be observing for next week. We are currently at this indecision candle that we have on a higher time frame, and that we have also on DXY and euro. So we can see that with the news yesterday, we just took this trendline liquidity that we have on a lower time frame and just respected this order block that we have here. And currently, EURUSD and GBPUSD are definitely correlated, like well correlated. There is not much difference between the two. Okay, we don't have this balance price range on pound dollar, which means that we might see the pound dropping lower than euro. But this is might, it's not a must. Something that I see here is that we have this zone here, and we have hold this zone here that might, this is the whole point of interest. But something that I don't like is hold this imbalance in this point of interest here. So if I have to choose between euro dollar and pound dollar, I would choose euro dollar for today. But yeah, price might just respect this order block that we have here and target the trendline liquidity already early London. We can see that we had a break here on 15 minutes. price started pushing higher. So this was the order block that created this high, but we haven't liquidated the previous high yet. So we might see price already like from here pushing higher, because this was the last order block that created the higher high in the internal structure. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see that. Whoops. Why is my mouse so slow? Sorry, guys. Yeah, so this zone here might act as support for price to go higher. But I would not just like enter there. I want to see some sell side liquidity being taken, at least like Asia low, in order to look for something interesting. But since so the balance price range on euro is here, but yeah, it might not be the balance price range for today, because if we look at euro as well, it also is kind of like respecting and breaking from the trend line, unless it's just a trap to take Asia low high. And then this is another actually possible scenario that some people like trading due to swing. But what is risky here? The order flow is bullish on almost all time frames, so I wouldn't like take a sell on euro now when the order flow is so bullish. If we take like Asia high and then drop lower towards this balance price range, that's what differentiates the newbies from more experienced traders. When you're more experienced, you're patient to wait for a solid setup. When you're in the urge of trading, you just want to take trades, and you're gonna find good enough reason to enter. So what is possible is price coming, taking this Asia high into this order block, and then dropping lower and coming to this balance price range. This might be an idea for London, and then Europe might push higher. But yeah, I'm not gonna be looking for any shorts. The only thing I'm interested in is continuing order flow if we get an opportunity. So that's it. That's the analysis for today. Let me see the chat. Yesterday gold exactly resisted area and went up, but tried to enter. Hey Rahul, welcome to my channel. Okay, so this is the analysis, and I see that there are not many people on the stream.